Hi, this is Abby. Today we are going to talk about dreams. Not the dream you want to accomplish, no. Dreams during your sleep. When you close your eyes, what happens afterwards? We are going to go deep into that world. Hopefully we will learn something new. With me here, three beautiful souls, Tricia, Elise, and of course Dr. Farah. Hello guys.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Good to see you here. Tricia.
Yes.
I always have this question internally. Why do we dream?
Well, I believe that we dream because our subconscious never stops. It's a 24/7 machine, and it doesn't give us a break. It's relentless, and it's always telling us something and sending us messages. And as a Jungian dream analysis, I've always followed his theory and his belief in the fact that we are everyone in our dream. We're represented by all of the people that we see in our dream, and that those people in our dreams that seem very, very clear, that we're very aware is that person, it's representing our relationship with that person. For instance, if we were to have a very big argument with someone or be very afraid of someone in the dream, then maybe there's something that's unresolved between us in real life. But it's always back to me. And I remember having an amazing dream when I was actually going through a divorce with my first husband. And I could see me with my back and holding my two children's hands in the United States. Now, I lived in France at the time, and the children were small, but we were gently walking away down towards a future, really. And in the studies that I was doing at the time with my professor in the Carl Jungian dream analysis, she said, this is very interesting because the United States is the united state of me.
Wow.
Holding my children's hands and moving towards a new future. And that spoke volumes to me.
Wow.
And another in the same period of my life was when I saw myself at the very top of a mast of a boat with the most magnificent blue sky and calm seas, beautiful calm seas. And of course, the sea represents mother. La mer is mother.
Absolutely.
So, and it's also emotion. So it was calm and it was beautiful. And there I was at the very top of the mast, and there I was at the bottom of the mast, smiling at me at the top of the mast. So the horizon was clear.
Wow.
And it was really very powerful.
That's amazing.
So, and also when we see ourselves in dreams at a certain age, it does relate to something that was going on in our life at that age. So if we're 5 or 6 under a tree, for instance, which I've dreamt, then at that period in my life, something was going on, and it was very clear. So I think that the mind is extremely powerful, and it's giving us messages on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And of course sometimes we don't remember, right? They're not powerful enough to come to the conscious level, and we don't remember. But it's interesting for me that dreams are very blurry. They're never really in sequence. They're quite, we say, I had this weird dream, but how can it not be weird? How can it not be weird when it's a dream? So we might be flying at one point, or we might be in a car, or we could be totally in a different situation at a blink of a moment. And yet we're still surprised that it's not this regular type of a life, you know.
I've always really laughed when I've tried to explain my dream to someone, and then it's always funny, like, and then I was doing this.
Exactly.
I was doing this, but then I was doing this.
Yes.
And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just gobbledygook. And I've also written down my dreams.
Yes.
I went through like a phase where I used to write them down, and when I read them back later, I was like,
yes, it's really interesting. And when my clients come and we analyse their dreams, because some of them are very powerful, we will underline all of the significant things in the dream, and I'll ask them, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? And then we get the coding from the dream. It's really quite interesting.
So dream can be a very helpful tool.
Yes.
After we close our eyes and go to deep sleep, maybe.
Yes, very helpful.
And during, but I was going to say, during the 90 minutes REM, which is rapid eye movement, something happened in our brain, mind.
Exactly.
That we see. So, some people see pictures. Some people see pictures and hear sounds.
Yes.
Some people see pictures, sounds, and words. And the astonishing thing is when you feel something, like I know somebody, she said she felt a huge pain in her stomach.
Yes.
It's like she couldn't withstand it. And when she woke up, for days she had the same pain.
Wow.
Exactly. And I asked her, did you eat something bad the other night or the night before? She said, no. Interesting. She
Yes.
carried the dream in reality. Is this
Or she
possible?
was
Or
woken
was
by
it
the
the
pain.
other way around?
And her
Exactly.
mind gave her
Exactly.
images around the
Right.
pain.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because when we, you know, sleep is really a remarkable thing, and I think it has to do with our level of fatigue as well.
True.
How tired we are, how much time have we had to reflect on our day, what's happening in our lives. Because a lot of what's going on around us, you're right, it comes from the subconscious, and our subconscious keeps affecting us, how we behave, how we think, but we're not aware, right? We're just simply not aware. So when we sleep, that's the gateway, right? The gates open now for whatever is inside of us, and it comes out. Sometimes it can be scary, sometimes it's a relief, sometimes it just, you know, it gives us clues. But for me, I think it's that level of fatigue will tell you whether this is something I need to focus on. Like,
Right.
am I, you know, is my insides trying to tell me something, or is it merely just a combination of things I've seen and heard throughout the day that just, because I'm so tired, the images just keep flickering and going in different
And
ways.
also when we choose unconsciously or consciously to deny ourselves something that's going on, and we won't look at it, well,
Exactly,
guess what?
exactly.
It's
there.
going to show up when we least expect it, usually
Exactly.
when we're lying in bed, because you know, maybe we have a suspicion of something, maybe we have an intuition, but we're
Right.
not following it or listening to it, and then
Exactly.
it will come up in our dreams.
Exactly.
This is an interesting
Yeah.
thing. I had a very interesting dream when I was younger about my dog. I won't go into it, it's a little bit gruesome, but my dog was fine in the dream, but it was he buried something, and it proved to be quite something, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, the dog buried a baby in the backyard. A dream, everybody who just tuned in.
Okay.
The dog buried a baby in my dream,
Right.
and I didn't know that, and I didn't know where my mother was.
Did you know
my dream.
who's the baby?
No.
Just a baby.
That's right, but I didn't know where my mother was, and she was very busy at the time. She was traveling a lot for work,
Right.
and I must have been worried about that as a child.
Right.
And I actually worried so much that I dreamt that was her baby, and she couldn't tell me. So she had the dog bury it.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Very gruesome.
Yeah.
How old were
I
you?
was 16.
Wow.
And
okay.
then the dog dug the baby up, which I found.
Okay.
And I presented the baby to my mother and said, look, there's a baby. And she said, oh, yes, I was trying to not tell you about that. And in real life, she'd been having an affair.
Oh wow.
And I knew
So
Wow.
subconsciously
sometimes-
that there was a
goodness.
secret, and the baby was the secret. And the primal, sorry mum, but she's okay about that. But
Let's hope so.
our instinct is the animal, represented by the animal in the dream.
Right.
Wow.
So we can still get messages even when we are asleep. So reading your Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook messages is not the only way you gaining knowledge. During your sleep, you might perceive something we don't know where from. We don't know precisely where is this information or these information coming from. You are right, because I have seen people who predicted something,
Yeah.
and I did doubt them at that moment. I did doubt them, but later on, 2-3 years later, 2-3 months later, 2-3 weeks later, 2-3 hours later, it happened. And you know what? It's exactly how they predicted it.
Wow.
Like I did speak to somebody who she had a dream that she would be upgraded, and there was no way this company was going south, it wasn't going north. How would you get upgraded
Right.
while the company is doing bad, not good?
Yeah.
Guess what? 2-3 months later, that's exactly what happened.
My gosh.
They picked up, some company signed with them, and they needed to promote her to place her elsewhere and to be the manager of that place.
You know, you have me thinking though, Abby.
But how? Who told her?
Well, no, is it like that, or is
The
it
brain?
the other way around?
Who predicted the future?
I'm wondering if it's the other way around. You know, sometimes when the thought does not enter our minds, we can't perceive that it can actually happen. But if through a dream we get that thought and we're like, wow, this is a possibility, and then somehow because that possibility exists, we start living a life that leads us towards that path.
Yes,
you know,
consciously towards that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I actually think it's the other way around. I think thought begets thought.
Exactly.
But sometimes we're not ready for it, and we will suppress it, and it will come up in our sleep.
Yes.
And we'll think it's a premonition, or it's a, you know. And I totally agree that we are very sensitive souls, and yet the gateway, as you very well said, is very much open when we're asleep, so we're more receptive to hearing it. And if the images are strong because our subconscious wants us to hear this and see this, we're going to, you know, sometimes you can wake up going
exactly, because you actually feel like you're in the
running.
moment. You feel you're in the moment. I mean, many times even anger and, you know, different emotions.
Oh, yes.
We feel it. We feel it like it's real, you know, and we're not sure what's going to happen. Like sometimes I even wake up, I'm like, I'm not ready to wake up. I'm like, I want to see what's going to happen next.
But isn't it interesting how when we want to guide our mind to dream, it slides off it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, no, come back. I want to dream about this, and then this will happen.
Exactly. That happened to me just a few weeks ago, right? Because I know what's going on. I'm very connected to myself, so I know what's going on inside of me. And I'm thinking, okay, for sure I'm going to be dreaming about this tonight, because, you know, I'm waiting on the dreams to start happening. And then it didn't happen. I'm like, oh man, I think it was just too much in my conscious now. I pushed it straight into my
has the remote control saying no.
I'm like, we're not ready for that yet. I'm like,
Dr.
oh,
Farah, it's a dream. It's not a Netflix.
that's my Netflix.
That's like the one.
I don't have time for Netflix.
Why bother?
Exactly.
The most amazing movies go on all day long, and even in the evening.
Exactly.
Even in
You know,
the evening,
it's just really interesting. It's really, really interesting. But, you know, again, it's about just weighing it, you know, weighing what might be real from what might not, or what might just be mixed up. Because I love to pick up the pieces from my dreams, you know, that something that I saw, something that I heard, something that I smelled, you know, different things pop up, you know.
Yes. Well, I also
and it gets mixed.
I also think that the recurring dreams are a message.
Definitely.
I have a client who had a recurring dream for about 3 years in her childhood. From about the age of, she said around the age of 6 to 9, around about there, recurring dream. And it was a very, very violent dream, shockingly violent.
Over and over.
Over and over. Every night she'd wake up afraid.
Same dream.
The same dream. And her parents actually had her sleep in their bed so that they thought it would prevent it. It didn't prevent it.
No.
She had it every night, pretty much every night for the whole 3 years. And later on in psychotherapy, she was able to see that she had a lot of violence in her life that was going on.
I was going to predict that actually, but since you said it,
you know, it was a family of high status and a very shiny, happy family. Pictures on the wall of the happy family, but it was really quite violent, and she was expressing that in her dreams.
Because she's internalizing it, and she didn't have an outlet.
Well, it turns out actually the interesting twist to the story, which is always fascinating, is that her parents didn't argue that much. It was really her violent mother who was very violent towards the children and towards the father. But the brother also became very violent towards her because it was his knee-jerk reaction. So she was treated violently from her mother and her brother. And and then as the dream went through, at the end of the dream, the parents put the children in a cupboard for safety because there were people coming to do some nasty things to the parents, which they ended up doing. And the daughter, my client, was standing next to her brother in the cupboard watching all of this massacre, basically. But the most frightening thing of it all was that when she turned to her brother, he had black eyes.
Wow.
And that's what woke her up. So she was more afraid of her brother than of anything that was going on in her life. But it took a lot of deciphering from that dream. And so when that happened, the psychotherapist was able to work on her relationship with her brother, and then she came to me for other work.
So again, you know, people after a very bad dream, or which is can be absolutely torturing.
Yes.
Torturing
Yeah,
yourself. And how if you're living alone and not really, or at a later stage of your life where you don't have much help around you, what can you do? It's exactly what you said. Therapy.
Yes.
Therapy will help. You don't just leave it alone and it will
Find
cruise by
out
itself
why.
and it will solve itself. Never. You have to find the proper help. Why you need the help? Because otherwise it's not going to fix itself.
Exactly.
So you have to do something about it.
And you have to work through it. Yeah,
Yes.
you have to be able to work through it consciously, right? To bring it from the subconscious into the conscious.
True.
Yes.
And also you might have a dream about someone you know, and it might be worth contacting them, because do you remember I had a dream and I asked you about it?
That's true.
So Abby taught me that in dreams, if there's a vehicle or you're in a vehicle, and depending on who's driving it, it's basically means the vehicle of the way you're going through life.
Yes.
So I did have a dream, and my dad was driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and we were going really fast down this hill, and it was really scary, and I was like, slow down, like you're going too fast, it's too fast. And I woke up and I remembered it, and I was thinking, what does this mean?
Right.
So I asked Abby, and he was like, have you spoken to your father?
Right.
So I gave him a call, and he said, you know what, I'm coming up to retirement, I've got so much on my plate right now, I don't have much time for anything. And I was like, okay, you need to slow down. You need to slow down.
Slow down in the dream. Slow down means in reality.
Yeah.
That's true. A
And
vehicle
numbers.
means life. That's
Yes,
true.
because it's the vehicle of your movement, and the four tires is your grounding, your stability. So if there's a flat tire, you're out of balance.
Right.
You have to have a look and see how to regain balance in your life.
What if the
Very true.
car's upside down?
Then your life's upside down.
Right.
That's a good point, actually.
You're really not
That's a good
managing
point.
too well.
Right.
I know somebody who happened to be now residing in Dubai. He had an accident in Hong Kong or somewhere. And then he went through a coma for, I think, like 2 years.
Wow.
Something like that. Really long coma.
Wow.
During these 2 years, he had a life, he had a wife, he had children.
Oh,
He can remember the car, the color of the car, the plate number. He had a job.
unbelievable.
And he
he
wrote-
lived a parallel universe almost.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. He said every morning I used to wake up, brush my teeth. Exactly what we do, basically. Go down the stairs, start my car. He had like a green Jaguar or something, and
That's
drive to
amazing.
work. He knows his boss. He knows his name, his boss name, and he used to have a wife or girlfriend. I can't remember. Children, something like that.
Wow.
He lived full life.
What a shock when you woke
Exactly.
up.
He woke up and then he couldn't interpret what
Right.
was going on.
Wow.
No.
He said, and then he saw his father. So the anchor point was his father. He said, that was a dream.
Wow.
That was a dream.
2 year dream.
That's a really long dream.
It's a
very
long,
detailed
long dream.
Yeah.
Very convincing dream.
Absolutely.
But remember, he was dreaming.
And
right
he wrote
through
a
it.
book
he was
about
in a coma,
it.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
he was in this state.
But he wrote a book
conscious
about it.
state,
We may have
yeah.
had that dream for an hour.
Yeah.
We don't know if it was
We
for
don't
2
know.
years
Yeah,
or not,
yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
very
We don't know.
powerful
The other
detail.
world, we have no idea.
Is
We
that
could
glass?
dream for 5 minutes, but maybe it's like, we feel like it's like 4 years or something.
Right.
You went to university, you got a degree. How long do you get a degree? 4 years. And then you did this, and then you got married, and then you see yourself dying or something.
Right.
Wow.
Wow, interesting dream. Sorry, you were saying
Is that
something.
like lucid dreaming? Like he was aware of the
Lucid
dream?
Yes, absolutely.
So he was in control.
He can remember things vividly.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
To that detail. He can remember renewing his car
Wow.
Wow.
and the plate numbers
Wow.
and his car. And I think one time he had a problem with his car engine and he fixed it. And although he doesn't, in reality, he never owned a Jaguar.
This
But
is
now,
amazing
if he
too.
goes to the Jaguar,
Yeah.
he knows where the problem coming from.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Can you
amazing.
imagine? You've never been to that place, and then because
This
of a
is
dream,
what- you know,
because
like
of a
deja
dream, you
vu,
know,
right?
it's like deja vu.
Yeah, it's like deja vu. You have these things like I've been here already, I've done this already,
Yes.
and where did it come from? You know what I mean?
That's
So it's
true.
our subconscious. It's some place we've never been, but we feel like this has happened. You know, so it's all linked somehow, and there's so much that we still yet
That's
to
why
know.
mind is my passion, because I really think that there's so much that we don't understand, and to believe that we know is so limiting, because we don't know, and what a wonderful thing that is, because we learn and we learn and we listen. I mean, this is fascinating.
For me, it's the mind and for me it goes the mind and the body connection, right? Because the mere fact that we could feel, right, while we are experiencing these, dreams or this alternate reality, right? But we are getting the physical manifestations, right? I don't know if this happens to you all, but like sometimes when I have to go to the toilet tonight and I'm not getting up, I dream that I'm going to the toilet over.
Oh yes, and there's hoping that
I'm like, I need to go.
Right? I'm asking myself, am I dreaming or am I really doing what I think I'm doing?
It's like when it's recurrent, I'm like, oh God, I have to actually get up.
Thank goodness I'm actually doing what I think I'm doing, where I should be doing it, because otherwise I'd be in my dream.
I have had a very emotional dream once, and it was I can't remember if it was happy or sad, but I woke up with tears in my eyes, and I was like, oh my goodness, I really feel like exactly what I was dreaming, and I was like, it took me a while to like kind of calm down, and I was thinking, wow,
this is nothing compared when we were flying. We used to wake up in some hotel somewhere around the world at some time. Honestly, sometimes it takes me a whole minute, 60 seconds. Where am I?
And what day is it?
What day is it?
Exactly.
Is it departure? Is it? There is a lot of weird feelings. Like there's a fear. Am I late? Am I not?
Am I in the plane? Am I in a bed? Am I in my bed?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Where am I?
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Dreaming. Wow. Interesting. Dreaming. We all dream. We would like to hear some of your dreams that came true, or somebody who really dreamt about something and became true. Are dreams messages? I don't know. Where they come from, we don't know. As Tricia said, we don't know much about it. Where does it come from in the brain? Nobody really knows for sure. Nobody can pinpoint where the dream's coming from. Not even the best neurosurgeon, not even the best neuroscientist. They don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how can we see the future. Nobody knows how and why we see some weird pictures. Nobody knows anything about it. But it's nice. It's nice to have, as somebody mentioned here, parallel life somewhere where you might laugh or you might cry, and in both, trust me, you learn something, you feel something. We would like to hear from you. But for now, we say thank you. Bye-bye.